So, as we covered the role and meaning of sales intelligence, what is required for sales intelligence is data. So, let us have a look at the role of data for these sales intelligence tools and softwares. Data is the fuel for sales intelligence, right? So, it is a prerequisite to have any sales intelligence to generate any insight for your businesses. So, data that must be rich, accurate and up to date, the data which must be most detailed picture of your prospects, the data that is right, for example self entered data, as this is the most likely to be accurate, which are filled up by your own customers, data which should be robust, that is a lead's name, job title, email address, there should not be any missing data in your set. Then data that should be real time, that is when leads interest, qualification, etc. It has to give you that particular real time data, and the data should be clean, not wasting time chasing the wrong lead. That's something a particular salespeople will never want to do, right? And then data which is of high quality, which is synced, modified, and enriched again and again based on continuous kind of interactions with the same customers or new customers. So that's why we call data is the fuel for sales intelligence. If the data ticks all these particular kind of requirements like rich, detailed picture, right, robust, real time, clean and quality, then only your sales intelligence is bound to give you good results for your sales team. So where does sales intelligence data come from, right? So there can be different or multiple sources. First one is scrolling websites and social media. Nowadays there is a huge chunk of data that is created every second across globe. So websites can you can have a crawler, a web crawler that crawls or visits different websites and collect data what is there. Data can come from analyzing sites, uses data analytics. So you have your own website, you can get insights like employing Google Analytics to know more about who is visiting your particular website, how much time they are spending on something like that. So that kind of data is again can be collected. And then using browser cookies to track web activity, right? A customer or a particular business firm will not stick to one solution provider. They will look at different kind of solution providers or product service providers, and then they will look at then they will compare also. So in those cases it's important to track their activity across the browser that you are using. So at again this data that is generated from these multiple sources can be again classified at three different levels. First one is a company level data, where you can have company size, industry like finance, IT, insurance, valuation, whether they are into kind of billions kind of revenues, are they small medium sized enterprises, then revenues, investors, and even text data kind of what we already studied. The text data relates to what kind of softwares and tools they are already using. Then second type of data can be classified as a buying signals or intent data, which is more about new leadership hires, new funding raised, recent IPO, mergers and acquisitions, layoff activities, website traffic, etc. And there is something called as a contact level information, where we are particularly looking at demographic information like name, department, email of that particular decision maker, phone number, or even the social profile of that particular CEO or CXO. Out of this, the buying signals data is classified as firmographic, because we are looking at more kind of firm related factors, whereas contact level information can be called as a mostly which is we are looking at a demographic kind of an information. Again, apart from this crawling and website tracking and everything, what are the other sources from where you can collect data for your sales intelligence? First and foremost, why your customers or current customers are converted. So you can talk to them, you can interview them, you can have a long discussion with them. The intent of your prospects and customers throughout the buyer journey, right? Taking a feedback across every step. That's again one way to collect more data. The behaviors of your customers throughout the buyer journey. So not just prospects, but even behaviors, how they are behaving across the sales funnel. What kind of solutions they are looking at, what kind of material or content they are accessing. Then specific needs and challenges your buyer personas and customers face. Maybe it is because of a lack of training or lack of usage or lack of knowledge about a particular product or solution, or is it something else like budget and pricing. Unique characteristics of your buyer personas and target audience that you have created. The buyer personas you already covered in the previous modules. So even that can offer you more data about planning for your sales intelligence tool. And then the level of satisfaction and loyalty your customers feel towards your brand after a deal is finalized. So just after closing the deal, it's a good to have frequent interactions with your customer so that you learn more about their pain points, and even if the new needs and new wants, if they are there, you can have the solution or you can work on that particular solution for future business as well. So as we said, intent data and buying signals. So let's look at these two concepts further in detail. So 87% of shoppers research product online before they make a purchase. Why? They are performing so they are performing online searches, reading relevant content, and comparing different options that can address their pain points. And that's why they are researching more about you, about your products, about your solution in an online space. Intent data is a behavioral data set that indicates what a business or an individual is interested in. It predicts whether a buyer intends to invest in your or for similar products or solutions. So, intent data is a type of sales intelligence that shows which leads or accounts are actively researching third party sites. So, this activity is not happening on your website or your social media handle. It is happening on third party website or other website or vendors. So, when research on particular topic is higher than usual, the account spikes on those topics. So, what happens here in your sales intelligence tool, whenever your customers try to visit a third party website or third party site for a particular solution or product, it gets kind of it identifies, the sales intelligence tool identifies that particular topic, and if the particular customer is visiting so many third party sites for the same topic, then that particular account gets spiked or highlighted in your sales intelligence software. Then sales and marketing teams armed with these behavioral signals can then prioritize accounts that are spiking on relevant topics. And then when used correctly, B2B intent data boost convergence and sell. So now once a particular marketing and sales team knows that particular customer is very much interested and he is visiting multiple websites to identify a solution to a particular need, then based on as the account is spiked, a particular team or salespeople can come into the picture and tries to have a conversation with your particular prospect and try to convert the sales. So sales and marketing teams find accounts that research topics relevant to their business through the online consumption of. So where our particular customers are kind of visiting, what are those third party kind of avenues that he or she is researching or a particular business group is searching. So he may visit or he or she may visit product reviews pages or websites like TripAdvisor, we can say, infographics and blogs, various blogs are available. Then product comparisons as well. So many sites provide comparative applications like comparative kind of filters so that you can weigh different products on different features. Particular customer can also visit message boards like Quora.com to know more or search for a particular query, and they can also interested in getting more information about particular case studies that have been solved with particular software or solution, and even general news items as well. So these are the some third party website which you can track to see what type of different kind of platforms have been researched by a particular set of customer or a particular customer. So how to collect buyers intent data? To generate a spike, data vendors algorithms typically factor in several indicators including like amount of content consumed by that particular business account, number of consumers, type of content consumed, time on page, time spent on page, we also call it as a dwelling time, and then scroll speed, how slowly or how fast the particular business account is scrolling to this kind of pages. Because if someone is scrolling so slowly, that means he is more engaging, he is paying more attention to the content that is present on that particular website. So scrolling speed also gives an indication that particular customer is actually interested in knowing more about that particular product or solution. So again, this intent data can be classified across 4 categories. So whether the particular kind of visit by a customer is happening on your website or third party website, and how to track them. So first category is known first party intent data. that is visitors leave their information while filling in a web form on your website. So you have your website, you have something called as a filling form, and then customer fills it up. That's what you call as a no first party intent data. Then there can be no third party intent data. Visitors leave the information while filling in a web form on a third party website, right? So if you are visiting on a Quora, a particular customer write or fill in details on that particular website. So that's we called as a known third party intent data, because you know from where the particular business or customer is filling up that information. Anonymous first party intent data, like someone just visited your website and he has not filled up any form. So how will you know that? Here you can make use of Google Analytics. So for example, visitors IP addresses are identified and mapped to their company name when they visit your website. So you can track from which kind of IP address you are getting traffic from. And similarly, another version of the same, like anonymous third party intent data. Here again, you can use different vendors are there which can provide you that kind of a data. So for known first party intent data, your CRM software is sufficient for that. So you can easily know whoever has filled up the form, you will get that information in your database, right? Known third party intent data, someone filling out the forms on other websites which you don't know, right? Which you don't know, but actually the website is there, then you can use intent data provider. There are multiple softwares or proprietary vendors that gives access to such kind of data. Again, anonymous first party intent data, someone scrolled your website or visited a particular page, you can get to know about this through Google Analytics again. And again, anonymous third party intent data, which you can again take help of intent data vendors as well. Again, there can be intent data can be of two types, like chronographic data gives you sales triggers, events that signify a potential interest, whereas intent data specifically shows you when your customers are actively researching. So there is a difference between chronographic and intent data. Chronographic data talks more about sales triggers, whereas intent data talks more about who is researching your particular product or solutions. So there are 5 main use cases for sales and marketing teams using intent data. First, it will help you to identify early buyer interest. So purchase intent signals help identify which companies are actually researching your solution. So before they fill out a form on your site or engage with your sales team, so that's the particular advantage of having that particular intent data. Intent data also helps you to build targeted account list. So sales team can dynamically filter out outreach list for accounts that show active interest. Then again, it helps you to personalize kind of experience. So sales team can better personalize initial outreach with resources that match whatever accounts are already looking for. That is what you are taking help of the intent data, and you identify which kind of initial outreach campaigns you can start with. And then lead scoring and prioritizing accounts, that's where also intent data helps us, where we use predictive purchase data to weigh your lead scoring model, give priority to companies that demonstrate interest and purchase intent. So even at this stage also, for lead scoring, like you have multiple leads coming from different sources, you can use what kind of intent data they are using, and then accordingly you can classify leads or you can prioritize leads in your approach. And analyze and retain customers. So the particular intent data can also helps you to get the real-time visibility into the customers who are researching topics and solutions. And these insights about customers make it possible to upsell or even cross-sell your particular offerings as well. Now another important concept is buying signals. So buying signals are the actions potential customers take that indicate they are close to making a purchase. So intent data is something that just gives an indication that someone is searching for that topic. But ultimately, if that particular gives a signal that he is more willing to buy or making a purchase, we call those signals as a buying signals. So they are customers' verbal buying signals, the cues your sales agent homes in on when talking to a prospect. So if you are having a face-to-face interaction with your client, a particular salesperson will look for verbal buying signals, right? So let's have a deal. So let's discuss about the financing, something like that. Or in online context, these buying signals can be in online format as well. So like the data trail that prospective buyers leave as they research your solutions online. So like the way they have downloaded your prospectus, they are visiting pricing page again and again, they are comparing the price different products and prices. That means they are giving a signal that they are more into the sales funnel and they are more close to make a purchase. So buying signals in marketing are essential for qualifying leads by showing prospective buyers the right content at the perfect time. So that's where buying signals helps us. So buying signals in sales combine verbal cues and intent data, positioning your team to tailor prospect focused communication. So if you can see, there are different functions a particular buying signal can have. So for marketing people, they help a particular kind of marketer to qualify leads. Someone who is qualifying, someone is not qualified. We call them marketing qualified leads. But when those leads come to sales team, the buying signals can have a different function. So they can help the team to tailor prospect focused communication. So looking at what particular buying signal a particular customer is giving out, based on that a sales team can approach to that particular client or customer. Buying signals, there are many buying signals that offer valuable insight into who your prospects are. So for example, someone who is at awareness stage, maybe he's just reading your articles, maybe attending any industry conferences, or reviewing any software, or reading a product review, or he might be interacting with on a social media, like following a particular your brand or your competitor, or even an article on a topic that is present on that particular social media platform. Someone who is at the next stage, that is a consideration, he already has that awareness about the need, about his pain points, and he already knows the solution that is required. Now he is at the consideration state where he is evaluating or comparing different softwares or solutions. He might be watching more videos on this, downloading analyst reports, clicking on email links and all. And another buyer who is at the purchase stage, who has already moved through awareness and consideration, he will now looking for product trials, webinars, attending road shows and all to know more, or where he can get the best deal. So there are different kind of buying signals a particular customer or client can give, and as a sales intelligence software works in a way that it uses this intent data and buying signals, and they give insights to your sales team so that they can prepare well for the upcoming sales interaction. So buying signals again can be based on data, can be classified into three different kind of signals. First is a fit signal, where there is a basic demographic, firmographic or technographic account and contact data such as industry and job function. So he is looking at particular industry and job, he is visiting company profile, contact profile, financial profile. So these all type of data is related to your buying signals, which says that it's a fit. Intent is something which is provides you an implicit behavioral signals that link a buyer to interest in a solution. For example, marketing activity, intent signal, or even social media activity with your brand or your web page. And then opportunity data, where it's an action based signals indicating favorable conditions for a purchase, such as leadership change or funding. So even something where a particular customer has not even make any visit to your website, or even your third party any third party vendor or website, sales intelligence software can track these industry changes. If there is something changes in the top leadership at one of the XYZ company, it will trigger that event so that you can have a kind of round of interaction with the new management team and push for your own products and services. So what are the benefits of intent data and buying signals? First benefit is for lead scoring. So once you have a lead, you need to rank them, which is more which ones should be approached first and with full efforts, and which are like totally avoidable, where you can save time on your sales team. So lead scoring, where we rank prospect in order of intent. So intent data can be used here to rank your prospects. In terms of cold calling as well, because you already know the intent data and buying signals, you know much more about your customer early, so that you already know the pain points. So it helps you to better pitch when you're doing cold calling. So reduce churn and upsell, that's the third benefit, where you can improve your offering because you are continuously interacting with your customers, collecting data. As we said, because sales intelligence does collect real time data with accuracy, so you know much more about where the particular customer is going, whether your existing customer is started visiting third party vendors or other solution providers, and then accordingly you can approach, or you can plan your approach accordingly, so as to avoid those losing out to those customers, which we call as a churn. Or you can also know if some features are expected by a particular customer who is about to renew his contract or service agreement. you can go ahead, add those features and have an opportunity of upsell as well. Now coming to the third important concept is lead scoring. So lead scoring is a method of assigning numeric values. So you assign some numeric value to particular leads based on their behavior related to their interest in a company's products or services, right? So it is the way of qualifying leads. So lead scoring is the way or method of qualifying leads. Or it is commonly used by sales and marketing teams. So for example, a lead that has signed up for a newsletter subscription gets a lower lead score than the lead that has signed up for a free trial or a product demo. What does it mean? That someone or a particular ex customer who has just recently kind of scheduled a product demo is much likely to be converted into a customer as compared to someone who has just downloaded your newsletter. So we'll assign some numeric values, let's say +5 if someone downloads your newsletter, but if someone schedules a product demo or free trial, you assign like +20 to that particular leads. So once you have multiple leads with scores across different parameters or across different content consumption categories, you can prioritize which leads to approach first or which are useful, and then you can also segregate leads which are not useful or these are just waste of time. So lead scoring is a process of ranking leads based on different attributes and data points to assess their readiness to buy. So readiness to buy is an important one. So using a predetermined scale helps identify which leads are valuable to your business and increase conversion rates. You can build models to score leads based on the following criteria. So you can use intent data to rank leads. You can also use firmographic data, right? So if someone company, if you are providing let's say HR analytics software or something like that, if a particular company is having a large employer base, should get a higher score as compared to a company which employs only kind of handful of employees. Then you can also use prospect behavioral data, what they are doing, how the particular customer is behaving across the sales funnel, and you can give points across the particular stages and see which leads are important. You can also use engagement with your organization, as I said, and then the lead source as well, from where the particular lead is coming from. For example, if someone is searching about your product or solution on mobile, is more likely to in the next phase of approach as compared to someone who is searching from desktop. So even the source of lead or even the platforms from where the particular leads are searching can be classified, and then you can use those kind of lead source to qualify the leads or score your leads. So why lead scoring is important? Because organizations that use lead scoring experience a 77% lift in lead generation ROI. So over organizations that do not use lead scoring. So there is a clear cut difference between someone or some company which is using method of this assigning a numeric values and doing this kind of exercise of lead scoring are always having at the benefit of having converting more kind of an ROI as compared to some company or XY company which actually not using any lead scoring methodology. Then look at why it is important. So there are multiple benefits of lead scoring. First one is identify the sales readiness of your leads. So calling leads is important, and as always there can be like first come first serve basis, but it's not always workable. So it's important to know who are the hot leads, right? Who are the hot accounts you should prioritizely approach first. So lead scoring helps identify leads that match your customer profile and prioritize sales activities accordingly. Second benefit is to identify upsell repeat sale opportunities. So if you suddenly see that a 1-year-old customer has suddenly started accumulating engagement once again, in all probability that they want to buy again and are looking for options, an email or a call from your side or your sales team at this point would make a difference, right? So it will make a quick closure. So the odds of contacting a lead if called in 5 minutes are 100 times higher versus 30 minutes. So whenever you get that buying signal, if a particular sales rep is doing that particular follow-up call within 5 minutes, it's more like 100 times higher chances that the particular lead will end up into a customer. And the odds of qualifying a lead if called in 5 minutes are 21 times higher versus 30 minutes. So see how timing is important. The moment you get some spikes about a particular account, it's a responsibility to approach that particular account as early as possible. Next benefit of lead scoring is for segmenting and targeting leads. So here you can identify different brackets of engagement and create customized offers to push your raw opportunities and conversion. For example, so Facebook as the source from where the engagement scores have recently been higher, therefore you can put more money or more budget, or you can plan for more campaigns on that particular platform, that is Facebook. Having data driven proof of lead quality will also help you align your sales and marketing teams. So here you can better understand who they are attracting for the sales team and what the high scoring leads have in common. So here lead scoring also helps your marketing function as well, so that they can plan well in terms of content creation and distribution. And final benefit is to make data driven decisions. So lead scoring helps you identify what kind of offers have driven higher engagement in the past, and it also help you understand your audience's interest in your products or services to identify popular products as well. So using this lead scoring, you can know what kind of products are favorite among your customers. So that's one more additional benefit of using lead scoring methodology. So there are different methods to do lead scoring. So first one is engagement scoring. So the engagement score is calculated based on engaging activities and timeline, say for last 30 days that you specify. So you assign different scores to the type of interaction the customer has with your company or web page. So for example, visiting a pricing page versus a career page. So as a customer, someone is looking at pricing page must be looking for a particular solution as compared to someone who is just scrolling or visiting a particular career page or something. So marketing related activities can again be scored differently. For example, if someone downloads or subscribe to your newsletter, you assign 0.2 or +2. Then product inquiry form filled, you give them +20. And then unsubscribe or email bounces there, you get a negative marking like 9 -50. So you assign some numerical scores for marketing related activities. Similarly, you can assign score for sales related activities as well. For example, salesperson had an awesome conversation, you can straight away give a numerical score of +30, whereas the prospect said not interested to buy your product or service, you give -100. So this way you can assign scores based on the what type of engagement your salesperson or a particular kind of customer is having on your web pages. Coming to the next method, that is demographic lead scoring method. You assign scores based on prospects demographic information such as age, gender, location, income. So you tick whatever information you collect from your forms. You give like if your target customer is someone who is female in terms of let's say age 24 to 25 living in metros like Delhi, Mumbai. So you assign some score for each demographic parameter and then calculate the aggregate score, and that's how you can again score your leads. Predictive lead scoring is again an interesting method where we uses an algorithm to analyze historical data within your CRM and tells you which account or leads are most likely to convert. So based on your historical data, the algorithm predicts which are the kind of most likely kind of people or buyers in the funnel or in the pipeline that resembles the converts that you had in past. So important attributes are automatically chosen based on common factors derived from deals that were won and lost in the past. So it basically identifies trends and patterns from the past and generates a prediction for the future. So it's more reliable and kind of accurate kind of lead scoring method you can use, but it requires huge data because the patterns and trends can only be built if you have a kind of a huge trend data along with you. And then again, marking account is important. So if some leads which have been lost, it's not something that can be used to do the proper analysis. So whatever leads or whatever kind of sales leads you approach in the past has to be marked either yes, no, or one lost or something like that, and then only that particular kind of algorithm will take that data to generate the winning probability for your next lead in the pipeline. Then finally we have rule based lead scoring, so where it's more like a manual. So instead of algorithm you are going manually. So contrary to predictive scoring, rule based scoring works on a set of predefined rules. So it's you or a particular salesperson who is assigning that particular scores for that particular lead. So you set up lead scoring workflows manually. For example, while creating the landing page, you can define backend actions such as send an automated email with the e-box PDF link. That's a first. Once particular customer lands on your page, you can add that leads to a particular list and you can ask particular software to increase lead score by X. If someone is doing this particular activity, that is landing on your particular web page, then you can have these 1, 2, 3 activities manually set in your software, and accordingly the scoring will be done. So you will assign a particular X kind of in a score whenever a particular activity a customer completes. So lead scoring tool, there are different tools available in the market. Some of the best lead scoring CRMs available in the market are Lead Squared, HubSpot, Zoho, Salesforce, and Active Campaign. For example, Lead Square supports quality scoring, engagement scoring, and lead scoring. HubSpot supports predictive lead scoring. Zoho uses multi-channel lead scoring across different platforms. It can simultaneously track those activities. Salesforce Essentials supports third-party lead scoring integrations. And then Active Campaign also has its own lead scoring software suitable for lead scoring based on email campaigns. So there are very specialized niche area softwares that are available. Apart from this, we also have specialized tools for lead scoring. Some of the best are Slintel, Infer by Inengitech, Marukuku, Breadcrumbs, and Sales Panel. So that comes to our end of the second objective, that is to learn more about the role of data in sales intelligence.